In today's Leeds news, under 18s in action, Roland Sallai interest, Manor Solomon to Leeds confirmed, Classen contract cancelled, rumour mill including Bachir Belloumi, Gus Hamer and Philip Billing. Morning folks, Ger here, Tuesday morning the 27th of August, and it's all picked up. There's like 10 names being linked with moves to Leeds United this morning, so there's plenty to get into. So we're going to break this into two categories. The first half of this are going to be stuff that's come from credible journalists that look like it could be done and dusted, and the second half I'll put into the rumour mill bracket, and we'll see if there's any credibility to these over the course of the next couple of days. But I will give you all the information on the rumoured ones, as well as the ones that look like they're being more than likely going to be confirmed. This is the first video today. There may be more videos or live streams today based on what happens later on today. But we'll start off with a story that's not related to transfers, and it's just about the under 18s and keeping you up to date on that. People who are new enough to the channel over the last couple of months, when the transfer window closed, there will still be daily Leeds news moving along as there has been for the last 2 years. It'll just be stuff that is around the club and keep an eye on loan players and young players that have gone out on loan, and the under 18s, under 21s, all of that. Any kind of news around the club will be covered, so stick with us for that anyway. But we'll start off the under 18 stuff, and they are back in action today as they kick off their Premier League Cup campaign for this season. They'll start it away at Tottenham Hotspur and the Tottenham Way training camp today. Now it will take place and is kicking off at 1:30 p.m. today, so the chances are by the time you've seen this, that game has already taken place. We'll confirm the result tomorrow and the goal scorers in that game as well. It's not been televised anywhere. It's not been picked up, which is a shame. But we will make sure that you have all the detail on the 18s and 21s over the course of this season. Let's move into the transfer stories now, and the bulk of where all the interest is today. And we'll start off with a story that came out last night, and it's now come from some pretty credible sources around the Roland Sallai situation that we've talked about. There are a couple of weeks of rumours around this player. We have some credible information coming out around Roland Sallai and his links to Leeds United. Adam Leventhal from The Athletic, so top tier credibility here when it comes to Adam. He is claiming that Leeds are very, very interested in a move for the Freiburg winger Roland Sallai. The article states that there's no formal offer that has gone in just yet, but that Leeds are very interested in bringing the winger in. Sallai scored 27 goals in 162 appearances for Freiburg and has been a regular Bundesliga starter for the club. Leventhal says that Freiburg have been approached for comment on the situation, but as of right now have not returned with any answer to the questions that the Athletic have posed to them. It's a very strong rumour to have, especially from somebody like Adam Leventhal to get involved in this, but he's not the only one. Sasha Tavalieri, who one of the people that broke the story late last week about Largi Ramzani coming into Leeds, but he has said that the sources that he has claim that Leeds United are preparing a €9 million bid for Roland Sallai, and that there is more information to come on this very, very soon. So this could be one that runs until the end of the window, or could be done a little bit earlier, depending on how quick they can move this move along. There is said to be interest from Freiburg to sell a player as they look to bring in targets towards the end of the window. So it might be in Freiburg's interest to get this deal done quicker, rather than leave it go till the final day, so they've got a bit of time to get replacements or the attackers that they want into the club. But we'll have to wait and see. It would be very much regarded as a high-level marquee signing for Leeds if they could bring in a player of Sallai's calibre, a fully capped Hungarian international playing the Euros. Good player. Very, very good player. So it will be an interesting one to keep an eye on. Can play anywhere across those front three positions as well. So more options for Leeds. Should they be able to get him in, that's the one that I would love to see happen. I'm excited about that one. But let's wait. Let's just wait and see. Moving on to a transfer that looks all but done and dusted, and Manor Solomon is expected to finalise his loan move to Leeds United today. There was a bit of a delay over the course of the weekend. Bank holidays, rumours of potential issues with medicals, all rumours, as I said yesterday. We've now got some finalised information on that, and it feels that all of that were just speculation and rumour. And in fact, the reason for the delay was a late entrance into the deal of Dutch side Ajax, who tried to hijack the deal at the last minute. However, the deal is said to be done and dusted. The attacker has passed his medical from Fabrizio Romano, as well as Sasha Tavalieri and other credible sources online. The deal is a season-long loan with no option or obligation to buy the player or to make it permanent. The lack of an option or an obligation for me possibly signals Leeds' intent to just put a team together to get out of this division, But also, with the fact that there has been some injuries to Manor Solomon, it means Leeds have a possible get out of jail free card should there be an issue with the player as well. They're not going to be stuck with a permanent signing with an injury. So should he get injured again, Leeds can cancel that. He can go back without fines or penalties. It's a smart move from that perspective. And looking that Leeds are still interested in potentially at least one more winger as well as a central player, Leeds could be getting backup lined up just in case they have proper depth in that area. So they can do what they did with Sam Byram last year. Minimise the minutes versus impact. And take care of the player as well, being able to bring him off at the right times or on at the right times and that kind of stuff. It makes sense. It's a smart move. Moving on to a player that's left Leeds United before we get into the rumour mill territory stuff, and this one relates to Chris Classen. We heard a couple of weeks ago that there was a possibility of a termination of contract at Rakow for Christopher Classen. Polish side Rakow and Chris Classen have both now confirmed a mutual termination of his contract, with the player moving back onto the free market to have a look at whatever else is out there for him. Classen had returned to pre-season training carrying a few extra pounds, and if you look at the day one video at Leeds United's uncut, you'll see him in the video, and there's a couple of extra pounds there, alright, but you know, you wouldn't describe him as a very heavy guy, but they wanted that weight off of him, and while he was supposed to work on getting that weight off him, he was apparently pictured at a McDonald's. So that was that as far as they were concerned. The deal has been cancelled, the player moves on, mutual termination, so done and dusted with Chris Classen and Rakow. It didn't last long. No appearances for the club either. Done and dusted. We move into the rumour mill territory, and there's a lot. There's a lot that have popped up over the last couple of days, and a few still floating around from yesterday. The first one's the Max Aarons one, and people very correctly yesterday asked in the comments, why would Leeds sign another right back considering you've got Jayden Bogle who's just come in, and you've got Sam Byram there as cover? Why would you add a third right back to that? And it's a very, very valid question. Team Talk are saying that Leeds are the favourites to get the player. Now we know the deal with Team Talk. They've not been very accurate this summer at all, but they are claiming that it's done and dusted. There's nothing confirmed from either side, and the question mark around this, Aarons doesn't play on the left. He's played mostly on the right. Sam Byram has played predominantly on the left hand side, and maybe he is seen as the cover for the left back position, which is fine. No issue there for me at all. However, Max Aarons is playing second fiddle to Adam Smith at Bournemouth. Is he going to come into Leeds and play second fiddle to Jayden Bogle? And is Jayden Bogle going to swap Sheffield United for the bench at Leeds United? It seems a strange one for me, but we'll have to wait and see. He's a very good player, Max Aarons, and I wouldn't say no to having him in the squad. That kind of depth is great to have in the Premier League. Two first choice players. Whether he can keep them on happy in the Championship remains to be seen, but we'll see how that one goes over the next couple of days and weeks. The next transfer rumour to move on to is one that's come out of kind of left field this morning, and this one relates to Mohamed El Bachir Belloumi, and according to Record in Portugal, they say that Leeds United have Algerian winger Mohamed El Bachir Belloumi on their list of targets this summer. Record claimed that Leeds are one of several sides interested in the 22-year-old Algerian winger. He's played 3 Portuguese La Liga games so far this season, and last season made 35 appearances for the club, scoring 7 goals with 5 assists as well. Nearly all of his appearances have come on the right wing, which is interesting because that's probably the gap that you would imagine Leeds are looking at, although Largi Ramzani can very comfortably play on the right hand side. Solomon can play on the left, both of them can play in the 10. There's options there, and you've got Willie as well to talk about as well. The article does go on to say, though, that they believe, Record believes, that Leeds United are looking at Belloumi as a kind of a longer term prospect, and it's one that might not be done in this window, but as a player Leeds are interested in longer term. Still 21 years of age, still 22 years of age, still pretty young, has time. Could be the similar situation to Willie Gnonto, where Leeds have a list of targets, and this one could be one they think, well, maybe next year or the year after, just keep an eye on him. But if we don't get these targets, maybe that's the one you go in and grab early, which is what happened with Willie Gnonto as well. So you never know. We have to wait and see on that one, but it's an interesting one that's popped up. Decent young player. Exciting young player. Moving on to a story that came out yesterday and seemed to have just appeared and then disappeared. And this relates to Gus Hamer. It came and went very fast. It was there, then it wasn't. But yesterday news came out that Leeds had put in a £13 million offer for Sheffield United midfielder Gus Hamer, and that bid was rejected straight away and was described as being a million miles away from Sheffield United's valuation of the player. Adam Pope from BBC Sport came out and also confirmed that this had happened, but said that Leeds are not expected, and he understands that Leeds are not expected to make a second offer for the player. However, in some random news, transfer Transfer Watch claim to have a scoop. They've labelled it as a scoop. And they claim that Leeds and Hamer have already agreed personal terms for the move for the player, and that Leeds and Sheffield United are in active negotiations for a move for the player. The article says that Sheffield United are willing to cooperate with a move for the player's departure, provided Leeds put in a hefty bid for the player. Now, 13 million is hefty, but they did buy him for 17, so Leeds would have to bridge that gap somewhere. The report from Transfer Watch finishes by saying that all parties are hopeful of a positive outcome to this situation. It's a strange one, and I would likely to believe Adam Pope first on this, but it's been a weird window where weird information has come out at different times. So you never really know with this. At the minimum, it's going to upset Wilder, and I'm alright with that. If Leeds just put a £13 million in for Hamer just to wind up Hamer, or just to wind up Wilder, I'm absolutely okay with that. Great work. But we still need to go and get a 10 or an 8. Both of them still need to be fixed in the middle of the park. Hamer can obviously do both of them. So remains to be seen. We'll keep an eye on it, but it'll be an exciting signing. There's rumours that Sheffield United have to sell. There's looking like they're going to lose another player today, heading out to the continent. Another defender going to leave the club as well. So, and they're looking at a winger could possibly be on the Spurs as well. So they're losing players. So we'll have to wait and see. Can Leeds nick another one off them as well, or just wind up Chris Wilder a little bit more? That's great. I'm all right with that. And then finally today, the last rumour on the list is Philip Billing. Reports from plenty of aggregate sites. No point even listing them. They're all aggregate sites, nothing official. But they're all claiming that Leeds and Bournemouth are in talks around a move for Leeds to get Philip Billing from Bournemouth. The Danish midfielder has interest of several Championship clubs. Leeds are amongst one of those clubs. Sport Witness claim that Leeds are the front runners for this and they could get a deal done. As we said very much last week, Leeds will be linked with every possible winger or number 10 at this stage because Leeds have outright said exactly what they're looking for. So we'll have to wait and see. But that's going to be it for me right now, folks. We will be back probably later on tonight with a live stream around transfers. We are definitely going to have a match review tonight at 8 p.m. Myself, Jerry McNamee and Andrew Stats-Dalton will be here to do that. Keep an eye out for that, and we'll try and cover off any news that comes out in the meantime as well. So I'll see you later on tonight for the match review from last week and a little look ahead to the weekend, as well as updates on what's going on so far with Leeds. Talk to you soon.